I was just reading in Exodus chapter 14. Moses had gone into Pharaoh and brought the 10 plagues on Egypt and brought the children of Israel out of Egypt through the mighty hand of God, through all the miraculous things that God had done during those 10 plagues. He led them out and he led them to the banks of the Red Sea, and they could look behind them and see the cloud of smoke, the evidence that Pharaoh was pursuing them. And they looked at the Red Sea and realized there was no way they could get over the Red Sea by any natural means. And so they began to cry out against Moses. They did this quite often. They were quite wishy-washy in that regard, but they cried out to Moses. So verse 10 of Exodus chapter 14 says, "And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth up out of Egypt? Is it not the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians, than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, and stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he shall show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye see today, ye shall see them again no more forever." If I read that in a church service and people heard it, they'd immediately be going, "Amen, amen, yeah. Boy, listen to that. Stand still and see what God is going to do for you. Stand still and see how God is going to fight your battle for you. Stand still and see how God is going to destroy your enemy from before your face, and you're just going to have a reason to rejoice." That's what people want to hear. God's going to do everything for you, and you don't have to do anything at all. You just stand still and let God take care of everything. Well, brother, let me tell you something. Let's suppose that were the case. Let's suppose that they stood right there and they watched, and God shot lightning down, and God shot hail from heaven, and God destroyed every member of the Egyptian army, destroyed them right there in the plains, destroyed their chariots, destroyed their horses, destroyed everything. Let's just say that the people of Israel would cheer, the people of Israel would jump up and down, they would be so excited. And then they would turn around, and they'd still be facing the Red Sea. They'd still be facing an insurmountable object. And what would they do? After they'd seen the 10 plagues, here they are crying out against God. Now, if they'd just seen Pharaoh's armies be destroyed by God miraculously, they'd still be crying out against God and against Moses. Moses gave them bad advice, and God immediately took Moses to task for that. So Moses said, "The Lord will fight for you, and you will hold your peace." And the Lord said to Moses in verse 15, "Wherefore criest thou unto me? Why are you telling the people of Israel this? Why are you looking to me to answer your prayer? Why are you looking for me to destroy the Egyptians right now? That's not my plan." He said, "Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. But lift thou thy rod, and stretch thy hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. And I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and all his host, and upon the chariots, and upon the horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, and upon chariots, and upon his horsemen." Now you see what just happened there? The children of Israel, if they had it their way, would have gone back and died in Egypt. God had a plan for them. Moses had an alternate plan that was to stand there and let God fight your battles. God said, no, that's not my plan. I brought you here because Canaan's on the other side of the Red Sea. You got to get across the Red Sea if you're going to head toward Canaan land. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to take care of Egypt. I'm going to do that in a miraculous way. I'm going to do that. But that's not your business, Moses. Your business was to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt to Canaan land. Now, raise up your rod and strike the water, and I'm going to split the water, and you're going to see a mighty thing there. I'm going to save Israel. They're going to march across on dry ground, and I'll take care of Egypt. You see the difference in my plan, Moses? That's what God's saying. And your plan, Moses, is you're going to stand here and still not get across the river. I'm telling you, get across the river and let me worry about the Egyptians. So often in our lives, we want to tell God how to do, when to do what we want God to do, when we should be listening to God, who's saying, "You know what? I've called you to go, and I want you to go. I've called you to do, and I want you to do. And in the process, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to magnify your name among all people. And because you're magnifying my name among all people. I'm going to bless you because you're going to be a blessing to the work of God in the earth. But you first got to be willing to obey me and let me handle things and tell you what to do, because if not, you're going to get stifled with the enemy on one side and an insurmountable object on the other side, and you're not going to be able to do anything when you try to do it your way. I'm not telling you to stand still, God's saying. I'm telling you to keep moving forward. Now, you're in a place in your life right now and you don't know which way to turn or what to do. God's already told you. I guarantee you somewhere God's already told you. He's already showed you what he wants you to do. He's already showed you where he wants you to go. He's already given you direction. And if God truly has done that for you, then God's plan is already in action. All you've got to do is pray and seek God for him to show you where you fit in that plan, and you move on and do the work God's called you to do. Sometimes it's tough. A lot of times it's tough. A lot of times God is going to put us into situations that we don't want to be in. But you know what? It's a good thing to know that when we go into those situations, God's there. God's going to bless us. God's going to anoint us. God's going to keep us. Let God bless you. Let God lead you. You'll find your life will be a whole lot less stressful and a whole lot more joyful and a whole lot more profitable and a whole lot more productive and a whole lot more victorious when you follow the will of God instead of trying to take care of situations yourself. My brother used to have a placard over his computer that said, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. God knows what the truth is. He doesn't need you to tell him. He needs you to listen to him. He needs you to be obedient to him, and he's going to take care of every need of your life. Thank you for being a part of this thoughts I have. I just have my thoughts while I'm sitting here alone in the cabin. God bless you.